Hello and welcome everybody to a very special edition of the Buy Round Midweek Matters, reviewing all that has been going on in the world of rugby league. I'm your host, James Graham, and today, from London, I'm joined by leading journalist Michael Chammas.
Hello, Jimmy. How are you, mate? It's good to be in your neck of the woods.
Well, technically it's not my neck of the woods. London is almost like a different country, and you'll experience that when you head up north. I'm going okay. Very disappointed with the result, with the performance, with the game as a whole. I'm very hungover as well. I've got to admit, Chammy, look, I dry my sorrows. I'm over here with a touring party organised by Craig Brown, the rugby league experience. So the Aussies have been rubbing my nose in it. They're all bouncing around at breakfast, very happy, celebratory drinks. But it's been tough. We had a great time, actually. Great time in Istanbul, and then an experience that is difficult to articulate when we went to Gallipoli. Very moving. It's funny speaking to a few of the touring party and saying, like, when players talk about going to war, it's like, no.
Yeah.
You just... It's a metaphor, but yeah, wow. It was very moving. Lots of tears there. Very emotionally draining day, but yeah, very pleased to go and experience that. And then now here in London, like I say, weren't quite there. Your experience in London so far?
Well, my experience, to be honest, my first experience when I saw you today was, how the hell are you walking around in shorts and whatever that is? That's a three-quarter shirt, to be honest.
A three-quarter shirt?
That's a three-quarter jersey. That's not enough to keep you warm in these conditions. You're a madman, but...
Mate, it's not that cold.
It's okay. It's 10 degrees this morning, and you're walking around in shorts and a three-quarter jersey. You're insane.
You know what? Right, it's kind of funny, this, like... When people ask you, like, "Oh, are you not cold?" I feel like going, "Oh my god!" I knew I was feeling. I knew I was feeling something, and thanks for pointing that out, because
that's what it is.
It's been on my mind all day. What is wrong with me,
mate?
You know what? You're right. I didn't know I was in shorts.
So you're used to this. You're used to this.
You just have to smile and nod and just go,
it's
"Oh,
good.
I know."
I love London. I've been here a few times. I had the honour of covering Wimbledon a couple of times for the Herald, and came over here for a little bit during the 22 World Cup. Really nice, snuck out of Manchester for a day, and we did a day trip together. I had Shake Shack and enjoyed life here. But
you and Brent Reed in London together.
Yeah.
That. Why was this not filmed? And
oh, mate, I filmed a few
together?
things. He didn't like it. He gets very upset with some of my antics, Reedy, but.
You two do go after each other a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, a bit of Dumb and Dumber going on. But so it's good to be back. I don't know why you're surprised about the result the other day. I don't think I think the game was disappointing, but I couldn't see the result ending any differently, to be honest with you. I thought it'd be closer.
Yeah. But
your mob were pretty disappointing. To be fair, Australia were disappointing. Like Reece, Walsh just sort of glossed over some of the shortcomings of Australia's performance, but which I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, it was an underwhelming experience, Jimmy. I was very humbled to be at Wembley. It's such an iconic venue, and we're very lucky in our roles to be in the situation that we're in, covering a game of rugby league there. But the experience didn't live up to what I expect. The hype, it didn't live up to it.
I'm with you, mate. And you know what? Like a lot of talk. Around the changes that England need to make. Well, what we need to do as a country is get behind our team. Get to, I was going to say Goodison Park. It's not. It's Everton's new ground, Hill Dickinson. Get there and create a hostile environment. Look, credit to the fans that made the trek down to London, but I was up in the gantry. Obviously, it wasn't full, 60,000, but it didn't have that usual English ground atmosphere that what I associate with, and maybe that was in reaction to the contest, because the opening 10 minutes, it
just flat.
Do you know what I'm thinking? have we been spoilt with the final series that we've just had?
Yeah.
And that's set the bar, and that was nowhere near those finals games.
No.
Like nowhere near. Like in terms of atmosphere, think back to that the Canberra Broncos game, the Penrith Broncos game, obviously the GF as well.
Yeah.
Like the Bulldogs Penrith game, like there were some great contests with great atmospheres. Bulldogs down at Melbourne there, that was a great atmosphere, great contest. And maybe that set the bar just a little bit too high, that this is what we've, and even the regular round as a whole, the standard I thought that the NRL was played at this year was with up there with some of the best football that we've seen. The excitement, the anticipation, the tension in almost every game. There was no tension really.
Nah.
Like there was no and
it felt like an exhibition. It felt like an exhibition. They didn't have any. There was no intensity about the game.
The ruck was really slow.
It was slow.
Like really slow. I'd love to see a comparison of number of play the balls in a 5-try game. I think, was it 5 tries or 6? I can't remember. 5 or 6 try game.
Yeah, 5-try game.
Compared to an NRL game that has 5 or 6 tries, like number of play the balls, because I would guess, an educated guess, that there'd be more play the balls in the NRL game, that the same number of tries scored, because it just seemed very slow, slow, and that was, I think, an accepted observation of the game by anybody that watched it. And then looking at it, I mean, Reece Walsh, the first 40 minutes, whichever side he's playing for, is winning at half time. I think, like, now Reece's two plays defensively, that's become his game now.
Yeah,
he's got the ability to take out 2 defenders in one movement.
Yeah,
so
he's that quick.
He's that quick. To be fair, the one where Farnworth got on the outside from a little grubber kick from George Williams, there wasn't much space. Like it was a very tight area.
Yeah.
But Reece now has mastered that. So those outside backs, they need to start preparing for that. That this is a different type of fullback. I've got to move either closer to the inside, or give the ball later, or show and go.
Yeah, the show and go. People will adjust. Probably England, if they had watched the grand final and saw what he did with Eli Katoa and knocking that ball down in the dying minutes, like they may have been aware to it. But I think it was Jake Wardle, was it?
Yeah.
He broke away late in that game, had the chance to draw and pass, but Reece too quick, knocks it down. He's. I spoke to Nathan Cleary after the game, and if you remember back, Jimmy, to 2023, when the Panthers made that comeback in the grand final, there were a few moments where Reece was exposed. I think for the 40-20, Nathan back on he just caught him out of position a couple of times, and he says that in the last 2 years, Reece is not the same player because he values defence now.
Yeah.
Whereas before we knew what he could do with the ball, but defence was, he had to do defence because it was part of his job. The good fullbacks love defending. The good fullbacks take as much pride in their defence as they do as their attack, and Reece is now in that echelon of fullback because you don't do what you did in that grand final. He stopped Tui Kamikamica in the last on the line there when he was going to score, knocked the ball out of his hand, chased down Ryan Papenhuyzen from a scrum, made him look like he was a front rower. The amount of yards he picked on him and forced an uncharacteristic error that led to a mistake. And then the last one there with Eli Katoa. So he's making a habit of that.
Yeah.
He's now got a taste of what it's like to be a top defensive fullback, and you don't go backwards after that. So it's scary for opposition. Nathan said his respect for him has gone through the roof. And I think the people in England, the people at that ground at Wembley the other day, they found a respect for Reece Walsh for what he could do.
Yeah. I think, you know what's interesting as well? Like, we forget he's only 23.
Yeah.
And he was only 21 in that 2023 grand final.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like that's young by any stretch of the imagination. But again, going back to the game as a whole, I thought Cameron Munster played really well. With his tempo, Harry Grant was
very good,
very, very good again. Cleary probably didn't need to be as heavily involved. He just serviced really well.
The back rows are good.
Yeah,
the back rows are very good. Angus,
they were really good.
And Hudson.
like an England point of view, like I say, talk of change, talk of bringing AJ Brimson into the setup.
What do you think? He's got to come back in, surely. Come in, surely.
Well, I think. Look, I know what it's like to play for England against Australia with an inferiority complex, like, and I think maybe the first 40 minutes, or even in that game as a whole, that maybe some of those players realise that they do belong, but it's taken them a game. So how much changes need to happen inside of a week, I don't know. But I think it's the first time that most of those players have played against Australia. Like, they've played for England before.
Yeah.
But there's a difference with playing Australia, and highlight reels of Walsh, of Cleary, of Munster, of Grant, of Tino. Like,
you're in awe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is, like I say, the inferiority complex where you feel like I don't belong. Oh, actually, I can.
Yeah, but the only one who did, Jimmy, the only one who looked like he's like, stuff these blokes, I'm going after him, and didn't give a shit, was Herbie.
Well, I thought Dom Young as well. I thought he played really well. But
Herbie wasn't afraid to get stuck into him. He was going after Munster.
Yeah.
You could tell that there wasn't this reserved nature about him. Like, there wasn't this, I'm in awe of these guys, because he plays against them every week and he wanted to get at him. He didn't give a stuff that Cameron Munster was niggling him. He went back at him. Like, they've got to throw the respect as much.
Well, that's the point. It's getting that out. That's out their system now. They will know that they can create, even, like, let's go back. Reece Walsh comes up with those two fantastic plays, but England now will know, if we throw some shape, we'll create opportunities. Like, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
So I think that is, like, really trying to be super positive. Is there was opportunities there, but it's opportunity lost as well, because I don't think Australia will really out of second gear.
No.
And the concern moving forward into this weeks 2 and 3 of this series for me is that England need to get better, but Australia will get better.
Yeah.
Like, they will.
They will.
Like, you could see a couple of times they shift the ball, and ball goes over the sideline into touch. Australia weren't great by any stretch. They just did what they needed to do, and some moments of brilliance and skill execution just got them over the line. But they'll improve, but England have to improve. But I think there is an element of, okay, if the stadium's sold out, let's get behind it, create an atmosphere, because that can play a part in it. But in terms of changes, I think, look, I know Jack Wellesby's better than that.
What was he doing with that try? Just hanging on his line.
I think he got lost.
Yeah.
His GPS was off. Like, I was like, why is he not going forward?
Yeah.
Or he was. It was a run on last play. He was anticipating the second kick. Again, I'm trying to make excuses here, but it was a poor play.
Yeah. Not that he probably wouldn't have stopped him anyway, Jimmy, but it just doesn't look good.
No.
When you've got, let's be real. People in Australia would have been laughing at, wow, look at these guys. They don't even know how to. They don't even know how to defend the line. Well, the fullback doesn't even know where he is on the field.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I know he's a better player than that. He's a good player. He's been spoken about as someone that would be of NRL calibre. But in that moment, that didn't look good for Jack Wellesby. And you're right, Jimmy. Australia will improve. That was a 5 or 6 out of 10 performance at best from the Kangaroos. So once they get it together, you take away the Reece highlight reels, there weren't many others. Scary prospect for your boys.
Yeah. Isaiah off with failed HIA. Who do you think will come in for him?
Let's talk Lindsay Smith will come in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That will make sense. I feel so sorry for him. Captain your country in Ashes at Wembley, and to see it last a few minutes.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss the next game. It's sad. But Harry Grant stepped up as captain in his absence. I'm really impressed with Harry Grant, just the way, we know what he can do on the field, but the way he's conducting himself off the field as well. He's become a real leader. And I think the captaincy, as much as they're going to miss Isaiah, it bring out the best in Harry.
Yeah.
and be interesting to see how because you could see he started to take control of that ruck at certain stages, and England were like, they looked unsure of how to handle him.
He controlled a lot of the tempo and where the game was played. A couple of early kicks, just thinking 2 or 3 sets ahead.
Yeah.
The one in particular puts a great kick down the short side, and just change the momentum. Just on like Harry Grant and the players, you've been in camp with them a few times. How have they been finding it? You get good access while you're over here?
I arrived on Tuesday. Yeah, they've been friendly. It's probably not too dissimilar to what it's like back home in terms of the access, but the Australian guys are pretty friendly. They've been pretty happy to have a chat in corridors and hotel lobbies and whatnot. But you can tell there's a tension a little bit leading into game one. I could tell that Kevy was a bit on edge a bit.
Yeah.
You could see it. You get to see Kevy on Fox in a different light. You see the jokester. You see how happy he is. So when you see that on air, you think that's how he's going to be as a coach, but it's not. He's definitely a lot more reserved. You can tell when he's doing a press conference, he's thinking about what he should say or shouldn't say. I think there's some things around people who aren't, we haven't heard from Reece Walsh, for example. He spoke after the game in a press conference, but they're trying to protect him from talking. So he didn't talk in the lead up to game one, hasn't spoken yet in the lead up to game two. A couple of, I think, assistant coaches may not have. I think, there's been some requests for other things, and they want to try and keep it under wraps. My view is the Kangaroos is a team that needs every bit of promotion it can get.
Yeah.
Now, I know this is the cream of the crop. This is the best of the best in this team, but if you're going to get the international game to a level that is beyond Origin, because at the moment it's considered an inferior product, well, you need to start giving it the time of day. And I know they've got a series to win, and Kevy's his job's on the line, really. He loses this series, it's game over for him. There's no way he survives it as an Australian coach. They're expected to win.
Win well. Yeah.
And win well. You're not going to get pats on the back for winning this series, but you will get the ass if you don't win it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he knows that. And what it does do, though, if he does win, is put him back on the map for a club coaching job. And he can. We saw what it did for Michael Maguire winning Origin. That's a different kettle of fish. That's a 50-50 contest, but Queensland, New South Wales. But it doesn't do himself any harm by winning this series, Kevy. And I can just see a little bit of. You can see the pressure.
Yeah, well, that comes with the territory, doesn't it? And with everything that the Kangaroos have achieved, especially yesteryear, and you think that the team in 86, 90, 94, like they won well.
13 in a row, Jimmy.
Yeah.
The Ashes.
So the pressure is on Kevy. One thing for me, I really want to see him make Gordon Tallis run the water. I'm desperate.
Gordy's been really happy. I've seen him.
I've seen him, and he's got a huge smile on his face.
Yeah.
But I want to see Kevy tell Gordy to run the messages and the water at one of the games, because I'd love to get into him for running 2 minutes. He's always after the trainers. I'm
great.
Desperate to see him.
Great. Where was he? On the sideline?
I think he was in the box.
He was in the box.
He was in the box. Yeah,
wow.
with Kevy. So yeah. Hopefully, he can.
Cultural attaché in the box.
He can. Hopefully, he can get that one sorted. Did you meet John Bon Jovi as well? He came and had a little say hello to the Kangaroos.
I wouldn't say I met him, but I was there when he rocked up. Danny Weidler was fanboying. He was chasing after him. But
was that coincidence that he was there?
I think he was there I think they announced his upcoming tour that day, and then so he was at Wembley for that announcement, and then he, I think they just organised for him to rock up. So the Australian team were quite excited by that. He was there for literally 30 seconds, took a photo, shook a few hands, and then tried to escape before the Australian media harassed him on the way out. So it was awesome. It was awesome to see there. A few excited people in the Australian team, Jimmy, about that. I don't know if he knows much about rugby league though.
No, probably not.
Did catch a good ball.
Did he?
Yeah. They threw a ball at him. He caught it cleanly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Perth Bears, sign him up.
Sign him up. They need to sign somebody. A few days away.
It isn't far away. We'll move on to our instant classic, which is all thanks to Classic. We can get our jerseys are still available. Click on the show notes, sign up to be a Classic VIP member in that link for a ton of special deals. Charlie put it on the rundown for the Ashes first test to be the instant classic. But
we said otherwise.
Well, what I've seen from the Samoa Tonga game in terms of watchability, product, atmosphere, game. Look, there was a lot of things happen. Obviously, the over an hour delay for the lightning strikes, but there was the standard of football. There was a try where May, Borlow, and Payne Haas combined.
Yeah,
I don't think they meant to do what they did, but it is a great move. I think it just happened naturally.
Yeah.
Where May sort of bobbled it and he flicked it out the back to Borlow, and then Borlow short ball to Haas.
That's front row porn. That stuff. I love it.
Brilliant to watch.
You were excited,
but I don't think it was designed to be that way. I thought the ball you either go short or out the back, but it was a beautiful interchange of passing, and then. Yeah, some of the shots you just showed me, that Junior Borlow shot on Sonny Luke. That hurts.
He's still on the surface. They're trying to get him out.
Yeah. I guess Samoa now advanced to the final. I was surprised at the scoreline, to be honest, but Jerome Luai and then the middle three of Samoa really just really dominated in the end.
I think that to me is everything that the NRL have been hoping for with international rugby league.
Yeah.
Like the atmosphere looked unbelievable. And I love when the Pacific Nations come, they always bring their flags. It looks so good. They're so loud. And that is what you need to sell the game to the world, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like,
one thing that looks important.
Yeah.
So if I don't know much about rugby league and I'm getting introduced to this sport, and you know what, maybe even in Tonga and Samoa, people watching that they're more rugby union based.
Yeah.
Or in New Zealand, anywhere. You turn that on, and it looks important.
Yeah.
Where England play Australia, the Ashes, don't really quite know what rugby league is.
Yeah.
I put that on, it doesn't look important.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. Like, atmosphere is so important. I remember when, sort of digressing a little bit, but when the Western Sydney Wanderers came in, it was the hottest ticket in town because everyone wanted to experience the atmosphere. I know you're from England, so you guys understand.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
It is a you're chasing the feeling. You want to be part of that.
Yeah. And that you don't get by watching at home. No, that's the difference.
That's right. And unfortunately, you didn't get that feeling at Wembley the other day. But if we can continue to build on that as a game, the possibilities are endless. Like that to me, if you can get that travelling contingency to Wembley, then that's when we know the game's made it. I know last year Samoa played England here, but people aren't travelling for it.
Yeah.
But if the game keeps growing, then people will. When the games become important, you will get a travelling contingency and you will create the atmospheres away from the traditional grounds that we're getting them. The atmosphere at Suncorp looked better than the week before at Mount Smart Stadium when New Zealand played Samoa. It looked better.
Yeah, I'm with you. And congratulations to Samoa. I thought they were outstanding. Yeah. Like their middle three. Yeah.
And Jerome Luai, Blaise Talangi, the outside back. And you got to remember, they're missing some players too. Like, they were probably going to get Hamaso. They lost Stephen Crichton. They were hoping to get Tino. They may get him for the World Cup. Like, you put those three players into that football team.
Jeremiah Nanai.
How good is he?
He was that's probably some of the best football I've seen him play in a long time.
Yeah.
Like that little kick for himself.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Just on the NRL and strategy, in terms of the game going global, we'll touch on the potential for a global round to kick off the season in maybe 2028. But it's my understanding that Mr. Volandis and Mr. Abdo and maybe some other members of the commission are going to meet with the Super League clubs and IMG.
Yeah, so Andrew Abdo and Peter Volandis are in town. They have, by the time you listen to this, they would have met with IMG, who've got an involvement with the Super League and look after the promotion of the Super League over here in the UK, they're going to see how they can work together. Now, you remember earlier in the year we had the story that the NRL had met with a couple of Super League clubs in Las Vegas, and there was a feeling from those Super League clubs, it was Warrington and Wigan.
Yep.
The feeling from those clubs was, we need your help. And the NRL's view at the time was, well, we're not going to come and try and push our way in and take over. But if you want our help, then you come to us. And over the course of the 6 months, the clubs have been going back and forth about what the future of the Super League looks like. It's going to culminate in a meeting tomorrow. The Super League clubs, some of the Super League clubs will meet with the NRL. But this is the hard part. It's, you know, the politics more than I do, Jimmy, but there's a sentiment around at the moment that the Super League, some of the Super League clubs feel as though the NRL need us. Or the NRL need us to make it a global game, so they need to get a broadcast deal with DAZN. They need to get the English game on board. The NRL will walk away if this is too hard.
Well, I think in any deal, you'd like to think it would be a win-win. So the Super League and their clubs win, and the NRL win as well. Like, for me, the game over here, we've just saw three new clubs come into the Super League. It's hard to know. Even so the NRL talk with the clubs, but I don't know who makes the call. Like, I genuinely don't know how it all works. It's very different over here. There's no CBA. So, for example, Salford went into administration. Their players don't get paid. That wouldn't happen in Australia. Same with Celtic Crusaders. About 10, 12 years ago, they went through exactly the same.
Toronto.
Toronto Wolfpack. They went through exactly the same. So, and it chops and it changes on a consistent basis. I think the NRL could come in and help, but they would need. I think they would need full control. Yeah,
they want. You know what Peter V'landys is like, Jimmy. He's not doing this unless he's got full control. I just can't see the English clubs doing that. Apparently, this is the way I've been explained. Apparently, the lower tier clubs have the same voting rights as the top clubs, and that's the frustrating element of this. There are some clubs like Wigan and Warrington who recognise how far the game can grow if the NRL get involved with its resources and take charge and build a broadcast deal that becomes a global broadcast deal. Whereas some of the other clubs are fearing for their survival and don't want the NRL involved, because the chances are if the NRL do get involved, then they pick and choose who are the teams that are in the competition. So self-interest will prevail in this scenario. And I can tell you now, the way I understand the situation, I think the NRL, if it gets too hard, will say, see you later, we're walking away. We don't need the headache. We've got our own things to take care of. We've got 2 new teams coming into the competition. We got Global Round coming, baby. We don't need to worry about how many pies and hot dogs you're going to be selling at the at your local ground. So
you broke that story about Global Round. So it's for 2028? 2027.
Yeah. They haven't given themselves a lot of time, so but that's the NRL for you.
But they're tied into Vegas for that, aren't they?
They are. So what's going to happen,
it'll be an add-on.
It's an add-on, yeah. So Vegas will stay as it is. They've got to deal with Vegas till the end of 28. But what they're trying to do is now expand on that and say, well, why are we only on that opening weekend? Why are we just limiting ourselves to those 2 games? Why not play games at Wembley or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or Emirates, Arsenal's home ground, on the same weekend? Why not take a game to Hong Kong, to Dubai? They're the preferred destinations. I know London, Dubai, and Hong Kong are their main 3, but it'll depend on how much the tourism bodies of those cities and countries are willing to spend. I know with Las Vegas, the Las Vegas tourism are thrilled with the money that's been brought into their economy.
Yeah.
On that weekend, I think it was $70 million that was brought into Las Vegas through the NRL that weekend. Now I know that's a city that isn't short on tourism dollar, but it's still a pretty heavy amount to be bringing into the city. So what will happen now that this has come out, the NRL have already begun exploring it, but they'll have people coming and knocking on their door saying, we want you to come here. I think the players love it. Like, they love the Vegas experience. Even Nathan Cleary said that for so long, rugby league has been behind union in the way that the players get life experiences by going on all these tours where league guys are like, oh, you just stay and play on the east coast of Australia. You've now got Vegas. We've revived the Ashes. You could have Global Round. Nathan's saying he wants to take the Panthers to Miami. Like, you could have a situation where, I know the NRL don't want to do, I originally reported all 9 games potentially being played on the same weekend. I think that's going to be a step too far for them. But you could have a possibility of a 9 a.m. game in Miami. When I say 9 a.m., that's Australian time. Then a 12:30 game in Vegas, followed by a 2:30 game in Vegas, followed by a 5:30 game in Hong Kong, a game in Dubai, and then a game in London. And that's without even considering partnering with the Super League. Super League clubs have reached out to the NRL and said, we're interested. You imagine, Jimmy, London Broncos getting into the competition. I know they haven't got a huge fan base, but imagine you tied it in 2027 with the London Broncos returning to the Super League, playing against St. Helens.
Yeah.
They're all coming down to watch their team. And they also get a double header of Brisbane Broncos v Roosters or Canterbury v the Eels. I don't think Wembley's the right venue because it's probably too big with 90,000, but you get 60,000 into Tottenham.
Yeah.
You get 60,000 into Emirates, and it would be unbelievable. And you would get what we missed out in the Ashes, which was a raucous crowd, because the St. Helens fans would bring what they brought, what the Wigan and Warrington fans brought to to Vegas. So it's on the cards, but it's all going to depend on how much they can bring in financially, and it pays itself, if not becomes a profitable outcome for the NRL.
Well, I think we're starting to see the globalisation of a lot of sports. Look at the NFL and their strategy to go literally global. London.
They played here.
Yeah, they played in Australia, Brazil, Mexico. Like at Major League Baseball, they take games on the road as well. And even like look at changing in boxing, that's become very much a Saudi Arabia thing now, because they pay the biggest dollars, because they realise that tourism for them is important. So imagine that the NRL, like I imagine there's not many holiday visitors to Saudi currently from Australia, but if there's a game there, people go, and then the positive feedback, oh mate, you've got to it'd be great for a holiday there. Like and that word of mouth and that positive promotion of a country, especially that are relatively new on the scene in terms of tourism, that's what it's like. You think about the Aussies that go to Vegas to watch their NRL team. How many people do they come back and say, "Oh mate, you've got to go. Yeah, you've got to go."
Yeah,
like whether it's for a sports game or not, and that's all part of it. And I think the NRL don't make any apologies for this being a business case. That's who we are as a sport, and a lot of people often criticise our draw, and it's imperfect, and it's maybe the ladder isn't a true reflection of who's the best team in the comp. But because we don't play everyone home and away, it gives us this flexibility to put on a Magic Round, to put on a Global Round. I know in La Liga, Barcelona was supposed to play Villarreal in Miami. That got ticked off by La Liga, and because of the structure of the La Liga, it's you play everybody home and away, and it's first past the post. It's top of the league wins. There's no grand final. There's no playoff series. So there was a big amount of backlash on that because it was seen as unfair. So even though from a business case, La Liga want to catch up to the Premier League, I think Serie A are taking a game. I think it's maybe AC and I can't remember who else, but who they're playing. But they're going to Perth to play a game because those other European football leagues, they realise the Premier League has raced away, so they need to go and do this. But because of the traditions of that home and away, that's being stopped. Yeah, so it's just being cancelled. So it's great that we've got that flexibility to play around a little bit. I know it's not perfect, and obviously when we think a 20th team comes into the competition, we're going to look at things like conferences. But again, this gives us the flexibility to move games. It also gives us the flexibility to take games to the bush as well, and that which is probably maybe they would feel like they're missing out at the moment. And one of the arguments is certainly, well, why are we going further afield? It is a business case, but because of the structure of the draw, we get the opportunity to go and play in those areas as well.
Yeah, but it's not just a cash grab from the NRL and then stuff everybody else.
Yes.
It becomes a business decision, but it also provides your fans with an opportunity of a lifetime. It provides your players with the opportunity of a lifetime. And I know it's not in direct response to R360, but at a time where we're talking about the appeal of being players going to play on the global circuit of R360, well, they're going to give their players something to look forward to. So I love the idea, to be honest with you. I love the ambition of the NRL. I love what Peter V'landys stands for. Stuff everyone else. If we have an idea, we're going to pull it off. And they have shown between him and Andrew Abdo that when they put their mind to something, they get it done. And in this situation, do you like it, Jimmy?
Love
essentially,
it, man.
Yeah,
you know what? Whenever change usually invokes feelings of anxiety, and when the commission came up with the idea of going to Vegas, there's 100 reasons not to go.
Yeah.
Oh, the pitch.
Yeah.
Oh, the travel. It's too logistical. Well, it's kind of like when we were coming back from COVID. There's 100 reasons not to come back.
Yeah.
And be in the safety of just, the bubble or whatever it is, or whatever it was. And we've got that. But there are so many reasons to go. And you're never going to please everybody. Like I say, some of our listeners would be going, well, hang on, what about areas in the bush that have been neglected?
Yeah.
But you're never going to please everybody all the time. But
the world is changing.
Yeah.
The world is changing. And if the game wants to stay domestic, then keep doing what it's doing. But if the game has ambition to be global, now I'm not saying they're going to become number one or compete with the EPL or become bigger than rugby union in Europe, but you can be bigger than what you are.
Yeah.
You can improve.
Absolutely. You'd be foolish not to.
But that's the mentality of some people. I saw some of the comments, some of the members saying, fans saying, oh, we're going to get a reduction on our membership because, we've got less games now at home. It's just that short-sightedness that has hampered the game for so long. Just be brave and bold enough to make these decisions and calls where we put ourselves on the map. I don't think it's a coincidence that we've had the best 2 seasons that I can remember in ratings in the 2 years that we've started the year in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The momentum that it builds. Everyone's watching. Everyone wants to see what it's like. And at some point that will become boring because we've seen it again.
Yeah.
So let's see what it's like in Miami. Let's see what it's like in Dubai. The amount of naysayers that there are out there saying it won't work in Dubai, that's fine. They're seeing. They want to see it fail. They're still watching.
Yeah.
They're still watching. And there are people there who want to see it work. We're going to have some locations, if this comes off, that are going to be absolutely fantastic. There are going to be others that you think, okay, maybe we won't do that again. But it gives you the flexibility. And what it does, you've got the test case. This is the document. Here's what we brought to Las Vegas tourism.
Yeah.
Miami, are you interested?
Yeah.
Hawaii, this is what it's going to do.
You've actually got data now.
Exactly.
You've got hard data there to say this is what we can deliver to you. What are you willing to pay for it?
Which is why they took a loss in the first year because they didn't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
They took the risk. And Las Vegas tourism were like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Rugby what?
Yeah. Oh no, and they're fair and legitimate questions because they would ask that.
Yeah.
But now they've realised that there's something to come to the party.
Well, you went to that dinner, Jimmy, when we were over there.
I did get invited.
Las Vegas
to that
tourism. Did we get dinner the first year?
No, we didn't. What was that? The 10 leading journalists in the
Yes, that's right. You were one of us.
Yeah, there was a few people a bit pissed off that I got invited to
Did
that.
you?
But yeah, I think,
you pissed the people. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a few. I think Dobbo was filthy at me.
Dobbo's upset about everything. Come on, Dobbo. Don't be like that. Someone's got to carry the Sunday's sin bin.
But no, I think it's great for the game in terms of winning the season kickoff. And look, I don't think. Sorry. We are in competition with the AFL. I don't think you can shy away from that. And 2 sports that are fundamentally restricted in terms of their geographical footprint. But rugby league has, I think, a greater potential to spread that footprint
for sure
and widen it.
Well, the AFL are hamstrung, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they can't play at any venues that are of substance. Like,
no.
where can, outside the cricket playing nations, like where can the AFL play a game in America that's going to be of standard of Allegiant Stadium that we got to play at? Even here in the UK, they can play at Lords?
Well, yeah, potentially. But I just, I think with rugby, like, we can almost get in rugby union slipstream there because, like, I reckon most people on the planet would have an idea of what rugby is.
Yeah.
You know, like, they may not support it or understand it.
Or differentiate between the two.
Yeah, but they know the word rugby.
Yeah.
But if you go Aussie rules, you go,
huh?
What's that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm respectfully speaking, like, I don't mind my AFL, but I think it would be hard for them to get outside of where they currently are. Their strategy is become more localized in terms of the what I consider to be a push into New South Wales and Queensland as opposed to further afield. That's their strategy, would be to try and capture some of that Queensland, New South Wales market.
Do you know what hurts us as a game? Like when you talk about the name rugby, is that the name rugby league is actually a crap name, like for a sport, because when you go to America, they think it's the rugby league. Like the league is not the sports name; it's the competition. So even when you say, "Oh, it's not rugby, it's rugby league," they're like, "Oh yeah, it's rugby. Well, it's the rugby league." Yeah, they don't get it.
They don't get it. Yeah.
Even if you explain it to them. So the name itself, going back all that, because they changed the federation name back all those 100 years ago, and they called themselves the Rugby League. It became the sport's actual title. Yeah. And that in itself cruels us a bit, because people don't understand that. And when we're brought up with it, so we don't see it any different. But the people who don't understand it, they can't make sense of this Rugby League.
Yeah. I think just switching back to the NRL's potential involvement in the Super League, it wouldn't surprise me if part of that full control and full decision, the commission have full authority to make every call. It wouldn't surprise me to see it change from the Super League to NRL Europe.
If they took over,
if they take over, because the Super League is actually, if you Google Super League, it would be the women's soccer league, because that has probably outgrown the English Super League, the rugby league version.
Well, look at the NFL. What do they say? People go, I'm going to go watch the NFL.
Yeah.
They don't say we're going to watch American football.
Or gridiron.
Yeah. They're going to watch NFL. And you've got to get to a point where we're going to watch NRL. Now, that's obviously we're a long way behind the NFL. But the game is actually better off being known as NRL.
Yes, it is, yeah. Yeah, and when you explain it to, I guess, new viewers, it would be, it's a version of rugby.
Yeah.
Just, you mentioned R360. Any?
It's gone to be
quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's gone to be quiet. A lot of players have been spooked by the NRL. I don't think they think most people don't think it'll hold up in court, but do you want to challenge it in court?
Yeah.
And that's the feeling. The NRL's done its job by deterring players from taking the chance.
And would it be now viewed as a bit of a reputation damage if a player was to sign, because you wouldn't want to be that player that's in court. I don't think anyone wants to be the first player to be, this person signed with R360. I think the damage to the reputation now of the player would be.
I don't know. I think you could be the pioneer of this. The thing is, let's just say Zach Lomax signs. Zach Lomax isn't taking him to court now, is he? It's only if it falls over and he wants to come back.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Parramatta should Parramatta could take him to court because he's under
I think
contract.
Parramatta, as long as Parramatta gets something in return, I don't think Parramatta are going to stand in his way. But they want to be compensated in a transfer fee or something. If you're going to go earn all this money, or give us some of it for your release, that'll be their view. Parramatta, they signed Jonah Pezzett for a year. I guess that's been the talking point for the last week.
What do you make of that?
I actually caught up with Jason Riles the other day here in London. He was with Mark O'Neill, the general manager, Jim Sarantinos, the CEO, and Matthew Beach, the chair there. They're more than happy. I don't know if they're putting on a brave face that they're disappointed they get him long term, but they said we're happy with 1 year because we got some good young kids coming through who may not be quite ready. So he helps us for 12 months. And by that stage, the kids we got, we don't block their pathway and we don't lose them. So that's their view on this. And Brisbane don't want anyone yet. They want Adam Reynolds to go another year and then have Jonah Pezzett become their man when Reynolds hangs up the boots. So I think it's a win-win for everyone if Parramatta are telling the truth.
Yeah.
And I felt like they were, to be honest with you, having spent some time with them face-to-face at a pub down at Gloucester Road.
Do you think we could see more of this as new teams come into the competition? So, for example, sign a 1-year deal with somewhere and then with a view of I'm signing for Papua New Guinea.
100%, and it has to. It absolutely has to. Like PNG would be mad not to start signing guys from this November 1 list now. There's 30 odd players.
Are they allowed
of calibre?
Are they allowed to do that?
Well, they're going to go to the NRL for permission. I spoke to Ray Dibb, the chairman. He said he wants the NRL to sign off on permission.
Yeah.
To start signing players, even though they haven't got a.
And give them like a 1 year.
Well, I don't think you could. So basically, let's say Tino Fasuamala is off contract. He goes and signs with PNG for 28 and beyond on a 5-year deal. Well, then he goes and finds a contract for 27 somewhere else.
Yeah.
Someone's going to sign Tino for a year. Yeah. Titans will extend him, or someone will pay him. You're kidding yourself if you don't think that these guys will get themselves a deal for 12 months. Maybe not the bottom level players, but definitely someone of Tino or Payne Haas or the Pappenhaus and these guys who are off contract. They'll get a home.
It's a huge win for the Broncos.
Massive. Knowing that your future's locked in already.
They do have that young Kobe back. Does that sort of shut down his future? Like, because they're not bringing Pezzett in, and they've got Ezra Mann there, Walsh at 1. Like, it probably closes the door for.
Yeah, you just never know what's around the corner, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes what if I said to you 12 months ago that Broncos would win a comp with Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds in the halves and Ezra Mann would be on your bench? Like, you would have thought, what?
Yeah.
How does that? In what world does Ezra Mann walk away from being the starting 6 and sit on the bench and be happy about it? But things play out. We know what happened in the off-season with Ezra. He loses his spot. And suddenly people view things differently. So a lot to play out between now and when Jonah arrives at the Broncos.
Well, Jonah Pezzett had an amazing game in that finals game against the Bulldogs. Was my man of the match by some stretch that day. So the Broncos have got a good one. Para have got a good one for 12 months. But that's all we've got time for, Chammy.
Jimmy, appreciate it, mate.
Enjoy the rest of your time here in London and get ready to go to the greatest city on the planet.
Liverpool. I'm only spending one night there for a reason.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week.